Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead? Of course he did. Scrooge and Marley were partners for, I don't know how many years. There is no doubt that Marley was dead. Now this must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the story I am going to relate. Ah, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, was Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. And once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house, a grim, cheerless place if ever there was one. The door of Scrooge's counting house was open that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, Bob Cratchit, who in a cold and dismal little cell beyond worked at his ledgers. See, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 26, 29, and 9 carry 2. Nothing to do, let nothing you dismay. 17, 13, 17. Bob Cratchit! Yes, Mr. Scrooge. Stop that infernal caterwauling. Yes, sir. 9, 15, 17. Singing their idiotic Christmas carols at my very door. Go on, get away from here. Get away from my door. Aww. Go somewhere else and bellow your blasted carols, or I'll give you something to bellow about.
Why, Dadna? It's an old custom at Christmas time, you know.
Yes, and I don't want any of your old customs. Take your fellow fools and go away. Christmas. Yeah.
Right, sir. Merry Christmas anyway, sir.
Yeah. Now, Bob Cratchit, you get that letter from Higgins and Blackthorn, and then I want you to finish posting this ledger. And after that, you can pop over to Parthagill's and tell Ephraim Parthagill that you've come after the 17 shillings and 6 pence he's owed me since Michaelmas. And tell him I shall have a constable over there if he doesn't pay up at once.
But Mr. Parthagill's wife has been ill, sir.
Oh, what do I care? I don't care about his wife. I just want my 17 and 6.
Well, I just thought it being Christmas, sir.
Christmas? Christmas? You mention that word to me once more, Bob Cratchit, and I'll... A Merry Christmas, Uncle. A Merry Christmas, Bob.
A Merry Christmas, Mr. Fred.
God save you, Uncle. Bah! Humbug. Christmas a humbug, Uncle? No, I'm sure you don't mean that. I mean just that. Exactly that. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you? You're poor enough. Well, what right have you to be dismal about Christmas, Uncle? You're rich enough. Ah! Now, Uncle, don't be cross. Well, what else can I be when I live in such a world of fools? What's Christmas to you but a time for paying bills without money? Merry Christmas. A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should. Uncle! Now, nephew, you keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine. Keep it? But you don't keep it, Uncle. Well, let me leave it alone then. What do you want? A Christmas gift, I've no doubt. I've come to wish you a Merry Christmas, Uncle. A Merry Christmas. Much good may Christmas do you. Much good it has ever done you. There are many things from which I derive good by which I have not profited materially, I dare say, Uncle. Christmas among the rest. But I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And therefore, uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good, and I say, God bless it. Hooray! God bless Christmas! Oh, let me hear another sound out of you there, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. Now, as to you, nephew, I wonder you don't go into Parliament. You talk enough nonsense. Oh, don't be angry, uncle. I want nothing of you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends? Good afternoon. I'm sorry you feel that way. Well, I tried. A Merry Christmas to you, uncle. Good afternoon. And a Happy New Year, too. Ah, humbug. And a Merry Christmas to you, Bob, and the missus, and to Tiny Tim.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Fred. Same to you, sir. Good day, sir.
Good day, Bob. Nonsense. Twaddle. Flummery. Talking of Christmas and not 2 sixpences to jingle together in his trousers pocket. Hey, you there, Bob Cratchit. Come here. What are you doing there?
Well, I'm only putting a bit more coal in the fire, Mr. Scrooge, seeing as it's so cold in there, sir.
You put that coal back into the scuttle. A fire. A fire, indeed. I can tell you, if you use coal at that rate, you and I will soon be parting company, Bob Cratchit. You understand that? There's many a young fellow would like your situation, you know.
I'm sorry, sir. My fingers were getting a little stiff with the cold.
Then put on your mittens. There's somebody at the door. Go on, see who it is.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Is this the farm of Scrooge and Marley?
Yes, sir.
I should like to see the head of the farm, if I may.
Very good, sir.
Well, what is it?
A gentleman to see you, Mr. Scrooge.
Huh? Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley? Marley's been dead these 7 years tonight. I'm Scrooge. Well now, Mr. Scrooge, at this season of the year, it's only fitting that we who are more fortunate should raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink, and means of warmth. You may not believe it, sir, but many thousands are now in want of common necessities. And hundreds of thousands are in want of the simplest comforts. Are there no prisons?
Well, there are plenty of prisons, sir.
And the union workhouses? They're still in operation, I trust?
I wish I could say they were nay,
but they are, sir. So the treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor then?
Both very busy, sir.
I am glad to hear that. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
No, sir. All these institutions you mention are flourishing, but it's nevertheless true that some additional provision for the poor and the destitute must be made. A few of us upon change are endeavouring to raise such a fund, you know. And what shall I put ye down for?
Nothing.
Oh, I see. You don't wish to be anonymous, do ye?
I wish to be left alone. I don't make merry myself at Christmas time, and I can't afford to help make a lot of idle people merry. I help to support the establishments that take care of the poor. They cost enough. Let those who are badly off go there.
Many can go there, sir, and many would rather die.
Then my advice to them is to do so and decrease the surplus population. Besides, I've only your word for it that all this is so.
It's the truth, Mr. Scrooge.
Well, so be it then. It's not my business. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, sir.
I quite understand, Mr. Scrooge.
Good afternoon. Cratchit, show this gentleman out.
Yes, sir. This way, sir, please.
Sir,
I couldn't help overhearing. I should like to contribute tuppence. Cratchit! Yes, sir! It isn't much, but it's all I can afford. But there are others in worse situations than I.
Oh, you're a generous fellow. I wish I might say the same of your employer. Cratchit!
Yes, sir!
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Cratchit!
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Yes, sir.
Close the door.
Yes, sir. 24, 31, 1, carry 3. A new scarlet tippet for Tiny Tim. A comb for Martha. Let's see, 33, 3 and carry 3. A hair ribbon for Belinda. 4, 7, 12, 15. Cratchit! Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's too late to have you go over to Parthagil's. You'll be closed up for Christmas like these other fools. We may as well close up the place now.
Yes, sir. Yes. It is getting a little dark. It's hard to see the figures.
I suppose you'll want the entire day tomorrow?
If it's quite convenient, sir.
Well, it's not convenient, and it's not fair either. But I suppose I can't do anything about it. If I was to stop half a crown of your wages, you'd think yourself very ill-used, I'll be bound.
Well, sir,
yeah, but you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
Well, it's only once a year, sir.
Once a year. Once a year, indeed. A fine excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose there's no good talking. You must have the whole day. Well, see that you're here all the earlier the next morning. You understand?
Oh, I will, sir. I will. I will indeed. And good night, sir. And Merry Christmas.
Bah!
Merry Christmas.
Bah!